Hello, my name is Feroz Hassan. I'm from India. I teach at the Indian Institute of Technology Kanpur, and I teach film studies, history and theory of film. And I'm here in Nantes to do some research on the history of the Festival of Three Continents. Okay. This festival caught my interest because I'm interested in looking at the cinemas from the global south. What used to be called the third world is now called the global south, and I found it very interesting when I discovered that there was a festival in France that had been sort of bringing these films, these cinemas in dialogue with each other since the end of the 70s. And for me that was very interesting because that was also a time when there was a shift in the identity of these three continents, where the term third world came into a bit of a crisis, and the phrase global south started being used, and so it is interesting to sort of look at how this festival originated within that context and in Europe, and to sort of ask why and what have been the consequences and results of this festival over all of this time. Okay, one thing that I was very fascinated by is to sort of understand how the festival works at multiple levels. So to me, what was very striking was the local presence of the festival, that it is a festival that has a very strong grounding within the local cultural milieu, and it is something that sort of works all over the year, all across the year. There are activities going on, there are screenings going on, so the festival in November is just one part of it, a major part of it, but it has a very sound sort of a local appeal to it. But then also it is a festival that has paved the way for the increased presence of cinemas from these worlds at the other major festivals like Cannes and Berlin and elsewhere. So it has really sort of opened the way for the expansion of film programming in all of these other festivals. And then there is also the impact that it has had on filmmaking in the three continents. So I've been sort of looking at what I've found here in the archives through not only the catalogs and so on, but also the extensive dossier de presse, sort of the extracts from the coverage of the festival in various local, national and international publications. So I'm trying to sort of reconstruct the history of the festival across these multiple levels using all of these documents. What I found very interesting is the coverage of the two founders of this festival, Alain and Philippe Chalado, when they would visit these countries for scouting films and filmmakers looking for films to sort of showcase at the festival, and how the sort of local press would cover their arrival and sort of their project. And so I found that kind of coverage also sort of very interesting to see how this festival may have been a part of the film industry in all these other places, and to sort of see it as an agent of some kind of change that might have happened in the filmmaking practices in these countries. So what I hope to do is sort of reconstruct this history and sort of publish it as part of my overall project of seeing how films from these three continents are in dialogue with, might be in dialogue with each other, to sort of understand if there is a sort of a south-south dialogue that happens through these films, and to understand also the place of France in shaping this dialogue. What are the consequences of having this dialogue channeled through sort of the global capital of what we now call world cinema. So that is something that I will try and understand as I go forward from what I have found here in the archives.